Be confident, be bold, be authentic, but don't forget to take action. This is Ordinary to Badass, where our stories empower women to step into the spotlight of their own lives and pursue what they're truly passionate about. It's time to step into the arena and become more than just extraordinary. It's time to become a badass with your host, Marie Sonneman.
Welcome to Ordinary to Badass, episode number 166. In this episode, I'm going to talk about learning how to manifest. I will tell you, it's been a learning process for me, still not an expert, but in case you've ever been interested in manifesting things, then this episode is for you. You can learn right along with me. I know that you will love it. So yeah, let's just get into the nitty-gritty. Welcome to Ordinary to Badass. Whether you're ordinary or badass, I'm so glad you're here. Man, I am really glad you're here. And you guys motivated me today. I'm going to tell you, I totally considered taking the month of December off, and it was completely in the air. No, seriously. This morning, I wasn't sure if I was going to do an episode today or not. I was like, yesterday morning. So on Wednesday, I wasn't sure if I was going to do a podcast episode or not. I was still like, maybe I'll just take December off. I don't know, the holidays, this and that. And you can think of every excuse in the world. But then I got a reminder from Spotify, or a notification from Spotify. And it reminded me how badass you are and how you inspired me. And so I was absolutely excited. I have information, or gave me details on the podcast episode. It said 76 episodes have been released so far in 2021. 9 different countries are listening to the Ordinary to Badass podcast, and listenership increased by 114%. Like, that is amazing. So that is not to be taken lightly, right? By the way, I don't know if listenership is a word, but bear with me. But yeah, it showed me a bunch of different stats on the podcast. And really, things have grown and they are expanding. And I'm so grateful for you for spending your time listening to this podcast. There are a bajillion podcasts out there. So I know that your time is precious. And actually, I really appreciate the fact that you're listening to this. So yeah. When I got those stats and it showed a bunch of increases, I was like, okay, I cannot take a month off. And I'm not telling you can't take a month off from time to time, but it was just a boost that I needed to keep going during the month of December. So thank you for that. All right. So are you interested in learning how to manifest? Good. Because I'm going to tell you some of the things that I'm learning in hopes that it helps you. And I would absolutely love to hear from you. Have you tried this? Is it working for you? Or did it work for you if you tried it in the past and aren't doing it now? I'm interested in knowing what has and what hasn't worked for you, or what tips have helped you. So definitely, if you've tried manifesting, hit me up on Instagram at Ordinary to Badass and let me know. So the first thing for manifesting is, and this is all just things that I'm learning, one of my big teachers for manifesting is Allison Bird, and that's Allison with a Y and Bird with a Y. But I will give you kind of a rundown later of different people that I'm listening to and following on their ideas on this stuff. The first thing is stop trying to fix yourself. You are perfect as you are. And that's not just a fluffy, like, in the perfect world, you're perfect as you are. No. It's, you're perfect as you are right now. Like, you don't need to fix anything about yourself. You are where you are for a reason. And maybe it's just to learn a certain lesson, but you don't need to be fixed. There is nothing wrong with you. Like, there's nothing wrong with trying to improve things, but also you don't need to beat yourself up for where you are right now, because you are where you are for a reason. So accept yourself as you are today. And I know for a lot of us, especially for women, that can be hard. We're taught that we have to look a certain way. Guys are taught they have to look a certain way too, or act a certain way. But there is nothing to fix. You are great as you are. And instead of like trying to be perfect, just be who you are. There is so much freedom in that. And man, when I have really started to look at it for myself, I am constantly trying to fix myself. I am always thinking I need to be better, always thinking I need to do better. And while self-improvement can be cool, it's like that shouldn't define yourself, right? If you took a day off, if you ate some ice cream, if you were absolutely lazy and vegged out and watched TV all day, stop telling yourself that there's something wrong with you or there's something wrong with what you did. So you needed a day. Okay. But there's often a thought or a feeling that we're just inherently wrong or inherently broken and need to be fixed. So today, stop trying to fix yourself. Because when we're constantly focused on our negative traits and the bad things about us, then it's harder to see the good things. It's harder to see the beauty. So you are good. You don't need fixing. You don't need to be accepted. You are who you are. Own that shit, right? All right. Another thing is there is no golden ticket. Stop looking for a golden ticket. And oh man, I fall into this trap so often. So it was it was mind-opening for me. I don't need to look for a golden ticket. There's not going to be one big thing. Even if, okay, you won the lottery tomorrow, right? How awesome would that be? Pretty epic. But that doesn't mean that your life has changed forever. You could lose that money in a week or in a year or however long. That winning of the lottery doesn't automatically change your relationships, right? It doesn't change every single aspect of your life. And so we look for this golden ticket, and it's like if we prioritized winning that lottery or getting that golden ticket event and having that happen, then what? Where does that leave you? It's more about the small miracles, the little tiny golden tickets, the mini golden tickets that you're getting every single day that are helping you out. It's not this big one event, one-off golden ticket, and that's it. Really, that would be disappointing if we only had one good thing to happen, right? And then how many other good things would you miss along the way? And that often happens too. Have you ever set a goal and that goal seemed so cool or so big and then you accomplished it? And immediately you're like, what's next? So what I'm learning is that the golden ticket is every single day, right? Or the beauty is every single day. The things we're looking for is in your daily life, not necessarily a one-off big golden ticket, win the lotto kind of situation, because you're still going to have the next day. It's like, what next? What after that? Right? So throw out that golden ticket thinking. It doesn't help. It doesn't help. And again, I still struggle with it. It's still a work in progress, but it's good for me to remember, like, I don't need to hit the lotto. I don't need to make $1 million. I don't need to, do X, Y, or Z. My life is good right now. And then I look for evidence of it. And we'll get to that here in a little bit. The third thing for learning to manifest is everything in life is to move you forward, is to advance you. And how do you know? How do you know? Well, because it's what happened, right? You can't change it at this point. And that's what Byron Katie says. Like, what happened, happened. You can't change reality. And there's some quote, and I can't think of who said it, like if you argue with your universe, you lose every time. Or you argue with the facts or with truth, you lose every time. So it's so easy to get in the habit of, oh, poor pitiful me, this happened to me, and play the victim role and just beat yourself up about all the bad things. But does that help you? Chances are it doesn't. So look at your life as if everything is there to advance you. And so here's the thing. I've talked about it a little bit, and I'll probably do a podcast episode about it eventually. But previously, my former stepdaughter had taken her life, and that was like crushing to me because that's a horrible situation. So you could look at that and you could be like, how in the world would that advance me? How would that do me any favors? Because it doesn't seem like it would, right? And it's like, instead of like burying yourself in your problems, then how can you stand on them? How can you be proud of yourself for overcoming them, for getting through such a crappy situation? The death of a loved one is hard, like freaking hard, harder than anything I've ever been through. But then you come through it. And when you come out the other side of that, then that is something to bring you up a little bit, right? Like, you got through that hard thing. You can do hard things. So look at things in life instead of being a victim. Look at them as advancing you. And maybe there are things that you can learn from, things that you can grow from. You might not have had a certain perspective, right? And I certainly didn't have a perspective on death. I mean, I had lost like grandparents and stuff when I was young, but nobody that was that close to me. So it absolutely gave me a different perspective. So as you know, I work in law enforcement. That can help me on people I talk to, right? Other people deal with losing loved ones. That can help me be more compassionate. Arguing with the universe isn't going to do you any favors. So look to how it can help you. Look to what you can learn from it. See how you can grow from it. All right. The fourth thing is to ask yourself, am I focused on what I want versus what is lacking? So we often know that we want something more, right? But then we focus on all of the negative things in our life, all of the negative things that are getting in the way of that thing we want. Have you ever heard the phrase, what you focus on grows? If you think about all of the things you suck at, all of the things that are lacking, that is not going to help you get to the end result. That's not going to help you hit the end goal. So let me tell you a story. I did a podcast interview, and I may have shared this on this podcast before. I don't know. But I did a podcast interview of somebody, and she was super cool, had a great conversation, but I got in my head. I absolutely got in my head and was telling myself what a horrible interviewer I was and how badly I failed on that podcast episode. And I was probably just messing things up and embarrassed myself and just in my head, right? Well, that person that was a guest on my podcast sent me an email and invited me to do, I don't remember if it was like a podcast episode with her on her podcast or if it was Facebook or Instagram Live, something like that, or a webinar. I don't remember the exact thing, but she sent me an email. I saw that email and I could not read it. I could not bring myself to read it because I was focused on what I was lacking. I was focused on my own embarrassment and humiliation. Guess what? I didn't really do anything wrong, but I just got into my own head, right? So I couldn't read that email. Then months later, I had to send her an email about something, and maybe it was her podcast episode airing. I don't remember. So I did a search in my email to find the last one so I could stick on that thread. And instead, I saw the email that she sent to me, inviting me to be a guest. Oh man, it shocked me. It shocked me because I remember how like embarrassed and humiliated I was that day. And it's like, there it is. We can talk ourselves out of success. We can talk ourselves out of good things when we are focusing on what's lacking. I very well could have missed that opportunity. She could have said, forget you, you took a month or two to respond. But we miss all of these great opportunities that are right in front of our eyes. People are even offering things to us, and we don't see it because we are so closed off. And that's another part of it, right? Like receiving, that's hard for women. Like being able to get gifts or compliments or good things. Like it is so hard. So then how are you going to get something bigger? How are you going to get something better that you're wanting if you can't accept the small things? How is the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, how are they going to grant you that if you can't accept the things that are right in front of your face right now? And I am not preaching to you because believe me, I realized I'm taking this class with Allison Bird and it's all about manifesting. And I'm realizing I'm not appreciating the right now at all. I'm missing all sorts of amazing opportunities that are within my reach because I'm too busy focused on the big picture, on what I want, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. I'm too busy like, oh, I want to make $1 million. And then like focused on that and not focusing on any of the small things in the day to day. So I'm missing all of the goodness that happens every day. And then what would happen? Say I made $1 million. Then it would be 2 million, 3 million, 4, you know what I mean? You keep upping the ante. And where does that get you? So focus on what you want versus what you are lacking. All right. The last thing, or the fifth thing, is there's already evidence of the things that you want in your life. I know this is true. And this happened to me. This absolutely happened to me where I was ignoring all of the evidence that was already in my life. And I've talked to you a little bit about Allison Bird and kind of the impact that she's made on me. But man, she asked me, she said, what are the things that you want in your life? Or what are the feelings or traits? I don't remember the exact question, but I was like, oh, I want to be able to receive. I want abundance. I want gratitude or whatever the thing. And I listed like 5 or 6 things. And then she went through and said, okay, is there a time in the past week where you felt abundant? Is there a time in the past week where you felt grateful or where you felt cared for? And she kind of went down the list of the different things. And like, there was absolutely a time for every single thing she said in the past week that it had happened. Or I wanted to feel strong, like a strong woman, right? And there was a time where I stood up for myself, where a guy was talking down to me. And so I stood up for myself and asked him not to talk to me that way. And in case he wasn't aware, what he was saying came across as condescending. And so, yeah, I was a strong woman, right? But we often want all of these things, but then we're missing the fact that it's right in front of us right now. So what do you want to feel in your life? What are the feelings that you want to have every single day? Are there certain things you want to experience? Maybe you write those things down. Like write down if you want to feel strong. Write down if you want to feel abundant. If you want to be able to receive. If you want to be able to love more or to give more or whatever it is. Write those things down and then look for evidence in the past week where that's possible. Where somebody has done something for you or whatever it is, whatever the subject is. Look for that. If you want to give more, look for evidence in the past week where you gave to somebody. Like whether it's giving of your time or giving of your energy, giving money, buying something for whatever it is, but look for evidence and don't dismiss it just because it might seem like a small thing. Don't dismiss it. There is beauty all around us, beauty all around you. And I don't want you to miss it just because it feels small, just because it seems like a little thing. And so maybe it's also looking at a gratitude practice, looking at things that you are grateful for right now, things that are going right in your life right now. And again, these can be the tiniest of things. And, this is kind of a random tangent, but like I am waking up in the morning and starting to tell myself the things that I want. Like I'm focusing on what I want. It's kind of going back to the last one, I guess. But like I wake up and tell myself, I am creative. I have an abundance of ideas. Ideas just flow through me. Other people, I'm curious about other people and they spark ideas for me. And just kind of rambling on about different ways that I am creative, right? Because I want to be more creative. And part of that comes with curiosity, but I just kind of flow through that. Or I love my confidence. And then I start thinking like, oh, confidence comes through me and flows through me. And just like, I don't know, just think of all the ways that I'm showing confidence in my life. Another thing is my memory. I've had insecurities about my memory because I've never felt like I've had a good memory. And I don't absorb things. I'm an avid reader, avid learner. I don't know that that's really a word, but we're going to go with it. I like to learn. I like to read, but I don't absorb it a lot. So then I always constantly tell myself that I have a bad memory. Again, that's focusing on what's lacking as opposed to focusing on what my memory has done for me, right? Or where I have gotten because of this situation with my memory. And it helps me to work harder than other people are willing to work because it's just what I grew up with. So it has done me benefits, but instead of focusing on the lack, focusing on what I want. Like I am so smart. My memory is great. I am able to retain information, just trying to think of all the possible things that I want to speak into with my memory. Again, absolute work in progress, but I'm working on it. I'm doing it. And I will report back to you guys if any of this manifesting stuff works for me. But I do absolutely notice that I'm recognizing stuff every single day that like I'm excited about. Or it's like, oh yeah. There was one time where I was getting laundry out in the morning looking for something and I pulled out a towel out of the dryer and it was so warm. It felt so stinking good. And so then I was just like, I kind of put the towel on my arms and I was like, oh, this feels so good. And then next thing I knew, I grabbed out another towel and another towel. And I had like 3 or 4 towels just like sitting in the moment, delighting in just the feeling of like a warm towel. And so like, yes, my mom used to do that to us when we were kids, right? If she was getting ready to do the laundry, she might throw like a towel on me or something that was warm and like I would delight in how it felt good. But I forgot about that. As an adult, I 100% forgot about that. But then that felt delightful in the moment, right? So look at the delight in your everyday life. Look at how things can be easy. Everything doesn't have to be hard. And I will tell you, I am still learning this, still working on it, because I tend to make things hard. But ask yourself, what if this was easy? What if this didn't have to be so stinking hard? Okay, so I kind of want to give you a rundown of some of the people that have helped me get to where I'm at today and the people that I'm learning from, some books, in case you're interested. And I'll tell you, I'm probably not going to have this posted on the website today if you want a copy of this list, but you can always send me a message on Instagram if you want me to give you a copy of the list. Otherwise, hopefully within the next week, I'll get the list up on the show notes page. All right. Gina DeVee. I think it's Devee. And she wrote a book called The Audacity to be Queen. I listened to that book 2 or 3 times. And as I'm recording this podcast episode, I was like, maybe it's a time to go back and give that a listen again. Since I'm having a little bit different perspective than when I read it the first time or the first couple times. So Gina DeVee, The Audacity to be Queen. Kathy Heller is amazing. She talks about business, but also like self-care, and definitely started me on my self-care journey, I think in January of 2021. So look up Kathy Heller. Don't Keep Your Day Job podcast. I can't say enough good things about her. So definitely listen to that. Even if you're not into business, like the self-care stuff alone is amazing. All right. Another thing is Kyle Cease, The Illusion of Money. It's a money book, but it's not a money book. It's so crazy how much so many different areas of our life are interconnected. But I would absolutely recommend Kyle Cease, The Illusion of Money. Another one that I listened to a couple of times. Heidi Stevens is somebody else that I would recommend. I believe she's at Heidi Stevens on Instagram. I like all of her manifesting stuff and took a manifesting course from her. So good. And then, of course, Allison Bird, talked about her a couple times today. She's my current teacher or mentor on the manifesting stuff. But like anything that comes from her, solid gold. Couldn't recommend it enough. And then lastly is Dr. Joe Dispenza. I love his work. It's so amazing. And he does talk a lot about like the biology and stuff and energy and atoms. And I will tell you, I am not a science girl. Not at all. I did pretty horrible in math and science growing up, and especially in high school. But that said, I could understand what he was talking about. And I wasn't turned off by the book, because especially the beginning, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself is one of the books, and Becoming Supernatural is another book. But Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, at the beginning, I was like, I don't know, I can't do this biology stuff. But if I can get through it, believe me, you can get through it too. So yeah, that's the list. If you're interested in all and learning from the people that I've been learning from, definitely everybody that I just recommended, like I think it's so great and I love what they're teaching, and I'm going to continue to learn. So if you want to hear more about this, then don't be afraid to let me know. Speak up, even to the girl in the back or the guy in the back, right? I want to know what you guys are interested in and what you want to hear more of in this podcast. Your opinion means the world to me, and feedback, I love feedback. I love it. So hit me up on Instagram at Ordinary to Badass, send me a DM and let me know. And if you're on Anchor, I'm going to do a poll and see how you feel about manifesting. If you like it or if you don't. If you do it or if you don't. So if you're on Anchor, definitely take part in that poll. I want your feedback. I want to know what you like hearing about and what you don't like hearing about. All right. With that, we'll end our show. To all the badass women out there staying in the arena, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, own it and get after it.
Now that you've listened to this episode of Ordinary to Badass, we want to hear from you. Go to our website, ordinarytobadass.com/podcast, and submit your own experience on how you took your life from ordinary to badass, and get the chance to be on a future Spotlight episode of the show. That's ordinarytobadass.com/podcast. While you're waiting for the next episode of the show, wipe off the sweat, dust off the dirt, and get back in the arena.